It's that time again, just walking into the high-tech air-conditioned studio. Let me close the door. I must oil those door hinges. Now then, 14 centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit, 94% humidity, which isn't surprising. We've had nothing but rain. 1003 millibars on the barometer, and the flag, a little bit of breeze from the west. Nothing unusual there. Not unusual to have rain every day either. It's just been lashing all night. During the day we've had a little bit of sunshine, but it's just been awful weather basically. I have an apology to make. I know a lot of you listen to the podcast episodes on YouTube, and last Sunday was it, I put the wrong episode on. I'm getting emails from people saying, what's this? This isn't the hour-long episode I was expecting. So thank you to all those who contacted me. My mistake, I do apologise. I did correct it, but thank you for all those that contacted me. It's just amazing how many people actually listen to the podcasts. At 8 o'clock, the YouTube version came on, and within minutes, I'm getting emails all over the place. I know a lot of people listen to the podcast on various platforms. There's Spotify, is it Google? No, Google don't do them anymore, do they? All these different platforms. Podbean, which is my podcast host, people listen there. I think the best place to listen is rants.info, because there on the website you've got the photographs, you've got the interviews that I do, you've got all the podcast episodes all listed. Have a look there, rants.info. There's a page about what's coming up next Sunday, which, to be honest, I normally have no idea what's coming up next Sunday. But I think that's the easiest place to listen to the podcast episodes. You might disagree, which is fine, but do have a look at rants.info. Also listed there, you know, my walkabouts, my Ray's roaming rants with my recorder. When I go to Amberley, the Isle of Wight, Pulborough Brooks, all the places I visit, you can listen to all the walkabout type recordings there without having to listen to the hour-long version. You can just listen to the roaming rant recording, which you might find interesting. Email from James. Hello, James. Nice to hear from you. James is saying back in the 50s, we called knitted pullover type things, jerseys or jumpers, you know, the sort of thing. These days they're called sweaters. I don't like that. Do you like that, James? Sweater. It sounds awful, doesn't it? Santa Claus was known back then as Father Christmas. Isn't he still Father Christmas? I'm not sure. Oh, here's another one. Women's tops, the kind of female equivalent of a shirt, they were called blouses. You'd put on a blouse, not a top or a shirt. It was a blouse. And James says there were no T-shirts back in the 50s. Is that right? What did I wear? Do you know, I can't remember. I was only a child. These days, what are these? Sweatshirts, hoodies. There are trainers. We had plimsolls. I think there were T-shirts, weren't there, James, for sports day and in the gym, that sort of thing. And on the bed you had an eider-down, not a duvet. Yes, an eider-down, which was a sort of quilt, but it was filled with eider duck feathers. That's where the name eider-down comes from. Perfume, he says, was known as scent. That's right, you'd buy scent, wouldn't you, not perfume. Strange how so many names have changed. What we knew back then is just not used now. Sweater, that is an awful word, isn't it? Sweater. And answering the phone was different back then. Not that people have landline phones these days, but you pick up the phone and you'd say, Newhaven 2349. Whereas these days it's just, hello? Yeah, what do you want? I remember doing that. You had to answer the phone correctly. Newhaven 2349. I liked that. It was doing it properly, wasn't it? You'd walk along the road and see a neighbour. Good morning, Mrs. Smith. How do you do? These days it's, oi, hey mate, hello, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all right, or what? No, it's not like that, is it? I say hello to the neighbours. I don't say, oi, how are you, or what? Good morning. How are you? How do you do? Oh, jolly fine. Jolly good show, thank you. Jolly hockey sticks. I'm going to have all my American listeners having a laugh now, taking off the English accent. They'll all be walking around today saying, oh, jolly good show, how are you? What? Oh, lovely, jolly lovely weather, what? We don't talk like that at all. Actually, some people do. Have you heard of Jacob Rees-Mogg, the MP? Look him up online, you'll find him somewhere. Look him up on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and you'll find him talk. I like it. I like people speaking properly. There's too much commonness around today. Is that a word, commonness? It is now, I've just said it. Anyway, that's Jacob Rees-Mogg, Look him up and see what you think. You'll either love it the way he speaks or you'll hate it. I love it. I've just heard from Bob over there, other side of the pond in Washington. He says the school our grandchildren attend is a school farm. Now that's nice, because do you remember last week I was saying kids these days, you ask them, where does pork come from? Supermarket. Where do eggs come from? Supermarket. Well, he says the kids tend to the vegetables and collect the eggs. They also visit local farms to see pigs and cows. The harvest is sold by kids in the school vegetable stand. He says perhaps we're just strange being a very rural country. I can't imagine this happening in big cities. That's amazing, Bob. That's really encouraging. That's good news. I like that, kids being taught about vegetables and animals and all the farm type stuff. That is really good. Thanks for that, Bob. I've just heard from Mark over there in Ireland. Hello, Mark. Got your video. I shall answer that soon. Mark says people might be interested. I've just had a quick look. You might be interested in a YouTube channel called Fact Feast. That's Fact Feast, as in feast of food, big roast dinner, which we're having tonight, actually. I don't know why tonight, because it's Tuesday. No, it's not, it's Monday. Anyway, we're having roast dinner tonight. Now, Mark, this isn't his channel. He narrates the videos on the channel. So have a look at that. I've just had a quick look, and I think I'm going to be very interested in that. Fact Feast on YouTube. Thanks for that, Mark. Nice to hear from you. I wish I could read out all the emails to you, or at least comment on them, but there are too many, so not to worry. If you want to email me, raiserants@protonmail.com. raiserants@protonmail.com. Be lovely to hear from you. I shall be boring you very soon, within a couple of weeks. I'm taking my recorder on our Isle of Wight holiday. Yes, yet again we're going to the Isle of Wight, so that'll be good fun. I'm looking forward to that. I hope the weather's all right. We've had torrential rain. I just hope it's going to be all right. Thanks for all your emails about Gary the tortoise. No, he's not in hibernation yet. That won't be until late November, I would think. The frogs are okay. People have asked about the frogs. We have two frogs, the little one and the big one. That's how we distinguish between the two. We haven't given them names. Who was it? Sarah suggested giving the frogs names. Yes, that is a thought. But at the moment, they're just the big one and the little one. So all the animals are okay. We've had a squirrel digging up the lawn again. We've had cats, or a cat at least, getting into the garden and doing things, which isn't very pleasant. So all is well on the animal front. Plants are doing well, still got leaves, few of them dropping off as we approach the winter months. I've had my hair cut, by the way. How about that? Haircut at last. I don't like having my hair cut. I put it off, and in the end I end up looking like the Dulux dog. Do you remember the Dulux paint adverts with that dog, hair all over his eyes? I end up looking like that. So at least that's done now. So I'm going to be chilly. I'll have to find a hat. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday, when you're listening to this, we're off to the tip. I was saying to Mark, we'll take sandwiches and a flask of coffee, and we'll sit there at the tip looking at all the rubbish. I always think of the old days. Whenever I go to the tip, I always think of my childhood days, going there, crawling all over the stuff, clambering over the rubbish and taking stuff home and getting told off by Mother. What's all that junk you've brought home now? Haven't you got enough junk in the shed? Junk? What's she talking about, junk? Struth, it's valuable stuff. I remember once, I was about 14, I went to the tip on my bike. I was looking for a piece of metal. I was building something in my shed, I don't know what. And I went to the tip on my bike. It was a very old bike, a bit rickety, a bit rough. And the chap at the tip, he thought I'd taken the bike to dump it. And he said, "I'll just chuck it over there on the pile." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? That's my bike." And he said, "What? What's you doing riding around on that? Come with me." And he took me around the back of this shed place. And there were a selection of nice bikes. What he'd done, he'd taken them off the tip and he put them round the back of this shed. And he said, "Which one do you want?" I said, "Well, I haven't got any money." He said, "I don't want money for it. Which one do you want?" And I found a nice bike there with the drop handlebars, the racing type ones. And he said, "There you go, swap it for your bike," which I did. And I cycled off home on this new bike. Well, not new, but it was a lovely bike. I don't know who would have thrown that out. But he was all right, that chap. One or two of them could be a bit miserable. "Well, not you again. What do you want? Get off out of it. Clear off." Happy days. I suppose I ought to leave you in peace, leave you to get on with whatever it is you're doing, whatever you've got planned for today. I shall see you on Sunday, of course. I've no idea what Sunday's episode is going to be about, so I shall have to search my ideas books. Be good. If you're bad, don't get caught. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That leaves it wide open, doesn't it? Stay healthy, stay happy, and I shall see you on Sunday. Thanks for listening as always. Bye bye for now.